Okay, Chapter 11 Study Guide. Geometry and volume. Numbers 1 through 5, I am to name the term for the following definitions. The measure of a right angle, 90 degrees. An 8-sided polygon, octagon. A triangle with all angles measuring less than 90 degrees. Acute triangle. All 4-sided polygons are quadrilaterals. Polygons with all congruent sides and angles. Regular polygons. Name each triangle by their sides and their angles. Now these triangles are going to have two names. A name that describes their sides and a name that describes their angles. So looking at this triangle, two of the sides are the same, one is different. So it is isosceles, and the angles are all acute. So it is an isosceles acute or acute isosceles. Number 7, I notice a right angle. So it is a right triangle. Also, all 3 sides are different. So it is a right scalene triangle. Number 8, name each of the following figures. Square. Pentagon. And quadrilateral, irregular quadrilateral. One, two, three, 4 sides, all different, irregular quadrilateral. Number 11. My directions tell me to find the volume of each 3-dimensional figure. My formula for volume equals length times width times height. Number 11, my length is 5, my width is 2, my height is 6. 5 times 2 is 10, times 6 is 60. Cubic centimeters. Volume is always, always, always cubic. Number 12, again, length times width times height. 2 times 3 times 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Cubic centimeters. Moving on to number 13. Length times width times height. 6 times 2 is 12. Times 2 is 24. Cubic centimeters, always cubic. Number 14. Length times width times height. 12 times 6, or 12 times 2 is 24. Times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 2 is 12, 13, 14. 144 cubic feet. Number 15. Length times width times height. 11 times 5 is 55. Times 2, 110 cubic inches. Number 16, length times width times height. 5 times 2 is 10, times 3 is 30 cubic feet. Number 17, length times width times height. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 times 15. 5 times 5 is 25. It's 5, 6, 7. Add a 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. And I have 225 cubic feet. Number 18, length times width times height. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Number 19, length times width times height. 17 times 2 times 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Times 17, add a 0, 170 cubic meters. Number 20, I've got my composite figures. First thing I have to do with the composite figure is break it into 2 different rectangular prisms. There I have 2 different rectangular prisms. Now I have to find the volume of each separately, then add those volumes together. So starting with this bottom rectangular prism, I have length times width times my height. So 27 times 12. Two times 7 is 14. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. Add my 0, then multiply by my 1. 1 times 7, 1 times 2. That's 324. That is not my answer. That is the volume of one of the rectangular prisms. Now I have to do the other. My length is 9. My height is 6. It doesn't tell me a width. But I know that with rectangular prisms, parallel lines are equal. So if this width is 12, this width is also 12. So I have 9 times 6 times 12. I know that 9 times 6 is 54. Then I can multiply that by 12. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. Add my 0. And I got 648. That is not my answer. I have to add it back to the volume of my first rectangular prism. So 648 plus 324. $972 cubic feet. And number 21. I have another composite figure, 2 different rectangular prisms smushed together. I can separate here or here. Whichever way gives you 2 separate rectangular prisms will work. I'm going to draw a line here. Find the volume of my 2 separate rectangular prisms. So I have 30 as my length. I don't see a height. I have 9 as my width. Remember, I think of my length as vertical, my length as horizontal, my height as vertical, and then my width as that diagonal line. So I need all 3 of those. My length I have is 30, times my width, which is 9, and then my height I have to look for. I have to find it, because it's not right here in this rectangular prism that I'm working with. So I'm going to look at the rest of the figure and see what other height I have. And I see a height right here. My vertical height is 6. And since it's a rectangular prism, all parallel lines I know are equal. So if my height over here is 6, my height over here is also 6. So 30 times 9 times 6. I know that 9 times 6 is 54. So I can multiply 54 times 30. and I have 1,620. Now that's just this rectangular prism. I have to do this one as well. So I have my length, my width, and my height. 6 times 9 times 24. Again, 6 times 9 is 54 times 24. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20 plus my 1. Add your 0 always. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. Now add my partial products. 1,296. That's not my answer. Have to add it back to my other rectangular prism. So I have 1620 plus 1296. 2,916 cubic centimeters. And that is your study guide. Good luck on your test.